Thank you. Hello, folks. Good afternoon. Good rainy afternoon. Are we ever going to see the sun again? What's going on, huh? We will, right? Keep hope alive, right? All right, good. So, welcome. My name is Dave, and we're here. My company's here about every month or so. Therapy Gardens and Senior U. Those are our two names that we go under. So, I do like to just kind of, show you that. So the Therapy Gardens ones, those are mostly, cooking and gardening and all that stuff. And then we started getting involved in YouTube, and we do one on artificial intelligence. And it was really hard to call new customers and say, "Hi, I'm Therapy Gardens. Do you want to buy an artificial intelligence course?" It didn't fit. So we've introduced this new name, Senior U, which we've been using. And I also use Senior U north of Boston because I don't want to drive. I live south of Boston, so I use Senior U up there and have other people do it. But if I haven't met you, my name is Dave, and like I said, I love coming to Wellesley. It's a great, you guys have a great center here, and you have some great folks that are really doing some really interesting things here. I only work with senior center, in libraries. So senior centers and libraries. I've been to about 130 senior centers in Massachusetts, and you guys have one of the best in the state. There's no doubt about it. So, but today we're here to talk about YouTube, and how I kind of run things is I don't run things. So if you have a question or a comment or an insult or whatever it is, just shout it right out. Just grab my attention. If you don't want to do that and you want to wait to the end, I will hang around at the end, because the other thing is. Wellesley has a habit of, you guys start at 1:30, where most of them start at 1, and from 1 to, I can scoot out at like 2:05 and I'm okay with the traffic. Once 2 o'clock hits, I'll sit here all day with you now. So if you have questions afterwards, feel free, all right? I'd rather sit and enjoy my time with you than sitting in traffic, So how many people currently use YouTube right now? Okay, good, very good, all right. How many people have, what's the cable company here? Comcast. Me too. How many people have Comcast, right? Do you have to have Comcast here? Yeah. What's your choice? Fios? Is it Fios? So we're getting that now. How many people have Fios? Nobody. All right. We have T-Mobile. You use how's that working out? Okay, that's relatively new, isn't it? Yes. Okay, so they have you mentioned the T-Mobile home network. Yep. $50 a month. I mean, yeah, wow, you can't beat that. You don't work for T-Mobile, do you? I do. Okay, you do? That's funny. So, that's because that's what comes. So the first time I did, I'll let you peek behind the curtain how this goes. So I come up with, workshop ideas, or someone comes to me with a workshop idea and they say, this might be of interest. And then I write a little description and I blast it out. And then if a senior center shows interest in it and books it, then I write the presentation, right? But sometimes I put things out and no one buys it, so it makes no sense. So that I call them toss-offs, right? This was a toss-off. I needed another space. I had like one extra space in my newsletter for the week, right? Kevin knows I harangued them with newsletters trying to sell them things. And I had one little spot left, and I said, yeah, you know what? I've been thinking about doing something on YouTube. I think people might like it. So I put it in. Boom. I had a ton of people buying it. So then I said, well, I got to promote this. So I made a big sign, that I emailed out. I said, cut the cord, come learn YouTube. And then the first one that I did, people came in actually thinking they could get rid of cable. And then they were mad at me. And I was like, okay, we have to change this. So I've changed it up now, because what we just talked about everywhere is different. So you guys have 3 choices now. You have the T-Mobile home network, you have Fios, and you have Verizon. You probably have, there's probably a satellite out here too, right? DirecTV or something, yeah. Roku. So Roku, but so you have Roku, so you only have internet through Verizon and that's it. And telephone, and they bundle them together probably? You cut the cable, good. So you're lucky that you guys can do that. T-Mobile is cordless. Cordless. Just plug it into the wall. Yeah. You're the You're the second or third person that's mentioned. I got to get on the stick and learn a little more about it. I have Verizon myself. But anyway, so that's, the key is you need, the upshot of the whole thing is you need internet connection. And depending on where you live, they bundle it with other things. For example, I have Comcast. I also have a home phone that I've never used in my life. I don't even, right? I couldn't even tell you what the number is, but they make you get it, So hopefully these types of things are gonna nudge them in a different direction. So today we're gonna talk about the basics and the business model of YouTube, because I do think it's important for people to understand the business model and how different people make money and how it all interrelates, especially if you want to be kind of an informed consumer. And then I'm going to show you some things, how to conduct some searches, how to save some videos to watch later. I'll show you, we'll talk about the difference between channels and creators, and I'll show you some of the ones that I like, and, you can shout out some things that I can search for. And then I'll answer any questions that you have. Like I said, I'll hang around as long as need be, and we'll go from there. All right? Sound good? All right. Wonderful. So the first thing is YouTube. It's a video sharing platform, but it's lumped in with the social media of the day. So you hear Facebook, Instagram, you hear TikTok. YouTube is in there too. They're part of the mix. They were founded in 2005, not that long ago. I mean, if you think about that, And then in 2006, they were bought for $1.65 billion by Google. 1 year later, they were bought for not a bad profit, right? Google, say what you want about Google. What's going on with Google right now? Do you guys know? Antitrust. The government has them in their sites. And it's funny, someone asked me this morning, how do you feel about that? And I have to admit, I don't know how to feel. I don't know if I'm for it or against it. The world is different than when they broke up, even Microsoft. The world is different than when they broke up the phone companies, right? I mean, that probably needed to happen. I was a little young, but and it looked like customer service and deals were better for the customer. It looks like you got more deals. I don't know what would happen if you broke up Google to information, not necessarily to deals, but to information. So it's really interesting, and I would encourage you to follow it. It's the second most visited website after Google, which Google owns YouTube. So they've got numbers 1 and 2. It is considered what you would call a safe space on the internet for kids, for families, for older adults that don't want to, deal with nonsense, things like that. It's very, very rare to see something like pornographic on YouTube. I've never seen anything like that. Not that I've been looking, but but nothing has ever really scrolled by me that I've been like, oh my God, that's horrible. So that has happened on Facebook, and it has happened on Twitter for, oh my God, I barely go on Twitter anymore. It's like the Wild West. But the YouTube, they're pretty good about, keeping it, relatively, I like to just say nonsense free, and you can decide what nonsense is for you, And most of the functionality in YouTube is free. There are some paid options. I don't work for YouTube or Google, so I can say this. I don't think you need them. I don't think you need to pay for anything. I haven't seen anything that would entice them to get my money yet. Go ahead. Oh, that's a great question. So, no. No, because that's good. The question, let's answer it as it comes up. So he's asking. So you get every TV now is a smart TV, right? So it's got the apps, just like your cell phone has apps, right? And there's a YouTube app. He's asking, are you charged for that? No, because you sign in with your YouTube account. Now, here's the problem. I am living proof of this. Ready? One day during the pandemic, when I had absolutely nothing to do before I'd started this business, I said, I wonder what I'm paying for all this television that there's nothing for me to watch, right? I mean, how many times can you go around the whatever it is, So I was like, I wonder what I'm paying. So I just started taking notes of everything that I had, and then I put it into a spreadsheet. And every time something was on my credit card or I thought of something, I put it in. And then when I couldn't think of anything else, I sorted it alphabetically. And I was paying for 2 Netflix accounts. I had paid Amazon Prime twice. I had 2 separate accounts. I was wondering why, like, my phone wasn't syncing with my computer. Like, I see people's heads nodding, right? Like, I know I'm not alone with it. And I used to be a computer teacher. So think about that. So I don't know where I was leading with this, but paying for things. So I sorted all through it, and I realized, okay, this is ridiculous. And that's how I got caught. Was I ended up signing up on the new smart TV that I bought, and I had 1 Netflix account on the TV and 1 on my computer. And eventually, I was able to figure that all out. Yep.
In fact, you said it's free if you have a YouTube account.
Yes.
Can you sign up for a YouTube account on your phone and then have it?
Yes.
How do you get a YouTube account?
So we're going to go over that.
Okay.
Yep, we're going to do that. All right, so free. Here we go. Perfect. Free. So you really, unless you're like a really power user, like if you're someone that let's say you're a film buff and there's all kinds of things that you can't find elsewhere and all of a sudden you found it and it's for sale on YouTube, maybe then you might spend money. But most of the people in this room, you should never spend any money on YouTube. So if someone's asking you for money, there's usually something wrong with that. And I'm going to go through the right way for them to ask you for money. I'm going to show you that too, because they are allowed to ask for money. Okay, so signing up for the free account is the best option, and that's what we're going to get to towards the end. I'm going to show you how to do that, okay? But here's the thing. How do people, this is really interesting. How many people have a Gmail account? Like a Gmail email account. All right, good. So you all already have a YouTube account, if you have that. But if you have that, like a Gmail account, who's the customer? Like Google gives you an email account. Who's the customer? Is Google the customer? Who's the customer in the relationship? You are? You guys think you are, huh? You're not. You're not. Your data. The customer is all the people they sell your data to, right? So that you need to remember that. So whenever people, it's my email. No, it's Google's email that they can take away from you anytime. They can basically look through it anytime, scan it for keywords and things like that. You want to understand, you want to remember, you're not the customer. Even with YouTube, when you're watching and you're consuming it, you're not the customer. The customer are the people that all the ads dancing around whatever you're watching that you start clicking on, right? That's the customer. You're a means to get to the customer is what you are. So always remember that. But that said, there are people in here that are good people. They're good creative people, and they're making things of interest to people on YouTube. And I think some stuff is far better than what's on television now. And I'm hopefully going to show you some of that. So these people are called creators. Have you heard that term before? You've heard influencers? Yeah? No? Okay. So influencers and creators, right? So a creator can be an influencer, but an influencer is not necessarily a creator, right? An influencer can be like Kim Kardashian. You've heard that name. I really don't even know who that is, but I've heard the name, right? What does she even do? I don't even know. So she would be an influencer because she wears something beautiful and people go, oh, and they run out and buy it. That's an influencer. A creator would be the person that made what she wore. That's the creator. So I look for creators that are also influencers. I don't really care about that middle influencer, that trendy person, right? So, for example, this young lady here looks like she probably has a cooking show or something. That big round thing that you see to her left, do you guys know what that is? It's a light. That's a light. That's a light so that the filming goes better. And you're starting to see more and more people have those at home now. I worked with a woman who had a portable one, and she would set it up when we had a Zoom. She would set up her thing, and she'd have this light clamp right on here. And I was like, oh, someone's a little high on themselves. But so when you're a creator, so anyone can be a creator. So tomorrow, you could sign up for a creator YouTube account. You could film yourself doing whatever you wanted to do, and you could upload that film on YouTube, and it would be there, and the whole process would probably take you half an hour, right? Now, the trick is to put something up there that other people want to watch, right? That's the difference. So if you want to get paid from YouTube, right, and we'll talk a little more about that, you need to have a minimum of 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of video for people to watch, like recorded already. It's actually a good thing. There's a threshold. What are they doing by doing this? If you can't attract 1,000 subscribers, what does YouTube care about you, right? If you don't have 4,000 hours of content, they'll think, well, they'll probably just run out of content. It'd be you know what I mean? So they set that minimum threshold. After that, they're paid what's called by impression. So you click on things, someone clicks on things, ads, things like that, they get paid. And it's a percentage of a penny of each one, but it adds up. Very few people make a lot of money. This is something I can tell you where I used to work in high school. This was somewhat of a problem. You would have kids, in the old days it would be, well, I'm going to be a football star, so I don't need to study, right? Now I'm going to be a YouTube, comedian or whatever. I'm going to be a YouTube star, so I don't need to do this. But it's not true. Very, very few people make a lot of money. A decent amount of people can make some money. So if you have a hobby, something that's interesting, and you have some video skills, or you know someone who does, you could do it as a side thing, like a side hustle. You've all heard about that, or things like that, and you could make a little money at it. Yeah.
Does the amount of money one
Wow, that's another great question. You're 2 for 2. So the question is, does the amount of money that you generate dictate your placement in the search results, basically? So the answer is I don't know, and the reason I don't know is Google is or YouTube is very secretive about. It's called the algorithm, right? You've heard this to the algorithm. It's generally accepted in social media circles, like people that are into social media and work with it and study it, that Google's algorithm is probably one of the worst, believe it or not. And I have to admit, YouTube puts a lot of stuff in front of me that I'm like, why am I seeing this, But that algorithm is kept secret, but we know it has something to do with impressions. We know it has to do with clicks. It also has to do with, and this is good to know, if there's a creator you want to support, watching their videos to the very end is very helpful. That's true in Netflix too. They watch that, so then now when someone comes back and says, well, I want more money, they're going to say 50% of the people just clicked off your video anyway. You know what I mean? So, so you want to keep that in mind. And then, like I said, it's probably a good side gig if you're looking for that. So I'm going to go through how we sign in, then I'm going to do it here, so you don't need to do anything. And by the way, I will send this whole presentation to you if you want. Just make sure I get your email address before you go, and I'll send it right out to you. But all you do is when you go on to youtube.com, and again, if you have a Gmail account, you're probably already signed in. You don't even know it. And then you're just going to go in the upper right and click sign in. And then if you don't have an account, it's going to say create an account. And then you just follow the steps just like anything else, right? And you just want to make sure when you're prompted, choose for my personal use. And the reason you choose that is you could also choose for me to upload videos for other people to watch, like to be a creator, but you don't want that. You want for my personal use. So you're just gonna do that. They make it very easy to sign in. They've gotten much better at. You guys remember, back 10, 15 years ago, you were like giving your life story, trying to fill things out. Now it's like, give me your email address and your name, and that's it.
If you've already got one, but you haven't.
It should be. It should be. Yeah, and you're better off if you have a Gmail account, make that your YouTube account. Try to match them up, because, like, for example, I'll show you when I do mine. I have multiple accounts. Like, I have one for Senior U for these presentations, and then I have one for other presentations that so I sign in as different people. You know what I mean? Okay, so that's how you're going to do it, and then once you get in, you're gonna want to find some content, right? So it's already, right away, it's going to suggest content for you. And by the way, if you've been using your computer and other apps and things for a while, it's probably going to be pretty close to hit your tastes, at least. It might not hit your specific tastes, but if you've been out there, if you've been on Facebook, even if you've been sending a lot of emails and things like that, it's getting a sense, the software is getting a sense of what you're interested in, and it will start putting that in front of you, right? But you can also go out and search by topic. So you can say, well, I'm interested in basketball. Now, if you're somebody like me, like I'm a very curious person, and I do what's known, you guys have all heard the term, I go down rabbit holes, right? So I get on the internet, it's 8 o'clock at night, I'm like, oh, I'll play around. 3 hours later, I could tell you everything to know about some, amateur French tennis player that no one's ever heard of. Because I just got all involved in it, you know what I mean? So these things are good to avoid you from doing that. So you can go in with the topic in mind. So you can step in and say, I'm interested in learning how to make meatloaf, right? And then you kind of narrow it down from there. But you can also search by channel or creator. Now, I just want to explain the difference between a channel and a creator. So a creator is a person, and the channel is like, think of it like ABC. Is a channel. So on YouTube, Food Network is a channel. National Geographic has a channel on there. But then there's also channels that are just people, like Italian Grandma is one. It's just a person, but it's her channel. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. So you can filter searches as you're looking. You can say, oh, I want to see something that's been uploaded recently. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a recent video. It could be a video from 3 years ago that someone just put on YouTube, but you can still search for it. You can search for length. For a lot of times, like if I'm looking to learn something, I'll do a search and say, don't give me anything over 3 minutes. I just want to get to the point. Now, the new search things are doing a really interesting thing, and I don't think I can recreate it here. I think I can only do it on my desktop right now. But say I search for how to tie a tie, right? It's linking to a YouTube video about men's wardrobes, right? And it's an hour-long video, but then it puts a little marker and says, click here for the tie segment. And you just watch it, click, how to learn how to do a tie, 30 seconds later, it's done. You know what I mean? So they're getting much better at search results. Yes?
So if you're on YouTube, there's
Yeah.
a search field.
Yes, yep. Yep, so I'll show you when we get this. It will appear when you click in it. I'll show you. That's a great question. All right, so, and then there's a really good feature that the watch later feature. That's if anything, an argument to get a YouTube account, that's a good one. Because if you're scrolling around and you see something interesting, but you don't have time to watch a 20-minute video, watch later, bang, and I'll show you, it will put it right in your little, so then it's there for you. All right? I just briefly, I like to, I like to talk about I don't want to get into politics or make people mad or anything like that, but, well, whatever. Actually, I don't really care. I don't care if you get mad. You got to be careful with the news on YouTube. Anyone that can buy a video camera can call themselves a journalist. The Supreme Court has ruled that. That's a done deal. That's not going to change. But you have to be very careful because YouTube, you might recall, was very influential in a lot of the recruitment of young males to terrorism, right? So you have to be very careful. And there's a series right now in the New York Times that I love the New York Times. I think it's probably the greatest paper ever invented, best media outlet ever invented. And they have this running thing. Are you estranged from a family member because of fringe politics or fringe beliefs? And I'm amazed. I thought it was like just our family. I realized it's everybody's family. And a lot of it is, sorry guys, older men who get in this, they go down these rabbit holes and they seem to lose all sense of who they were before, and they get really involved in some crazy stuff. And you have to be really careful with this because, and this is why this is here, this slide. It can be very dangerous when you have an algorithm that's validating your own opinions and beliefs. Remember I said it's going to put things in front of you. It already is going to kind of know what you're interested in, right? That's all you're going to start seeing is what you're interested in. You don't always see alternative viewpoints or, you know what I mean? That's where we are in this country right now. You have, one side of the aisle sees all their stuff and one side of the aisle watches a different channel and sees all their stuff. YouTube can do that for you personally, like really make you feel good about maybe something that's bad that you're reading, so you want to, or watching. So you want to keep that in mind. That said, it's fantastic for food and recipes, for home and garden, things around the house. I can't tell you how many times I've, how do I fix this? How do I fix that? And I've just watched someone do it, and I generally have not been able to do it myself, but that's my own flaw. Like how-to ones are great. I'm going to show you a couple how-to ones. Exercise and fitness. There's a ton of YouTube channels out there for, if you want. Remember like the Jane Fonda stuff? Remember there's thousands of those now on YouTube, but there's some really, really good ones, Exercise, fitness, mind stuff. There's a lot of that. There's, brain games, things like that. Travel. I'm going to show you one right here. Pro Walk Tours. See that on the left? So it's brilliant. These are tour guide, real tours that are going on in other countries, right? And they have the tour guide, and they're there with all their tourists, and they just slap a camera on their head, and you're going along with the tour, right? And it's free. It's really incredible. It's amazing. So Pro Walk Tours is a great one. Food Network is a great one. And then before we kind of get to some demonstration, just a couple more words of caution. So I mentioned earlier that people could ask you for money on YouTube. They don't know you. They're not gonna reach out and ask you unless you reach out to them, right? Then they'll know who you are. They'll have your email or however you contacted them. So you want to be careful with that. However, that said, sometimes there are creators that you want to give money to. All right. Now it might be think of it like an artist, like a starving artist that you're like, you know what? I'm gonna commit $5 a month to this person so that they can keep doing their art. And other people do that. Some people do $500. Whatever. I do that. There's a couple websites that I watch, YouTube channels that I watch, that I know they're in it for the right reason. Like they're not making money on this, and that money goes to cover things like microphones and computers and all that stuff. But here's how you do it. Do it through Patreon. If you've never heard of this, it's almost like a PayPal. It's a pass-through, but they have to sign up at Patreon, and Patreon makes sure that they're legit, make sure that they're a real business. And then you send them money through Patreon, and then they give you in return access to stuff that's not in the general public. So for example, I have one guy that's a chef, and he has certain recipes that just aren't available for everybody. They're his newest ones. But if you're a patron of his and you give him money through Patreon, you have a login and you can go see it. So the reason I show you that and that logo is that's the only time you might want to pay somebody for something. You might say, oh, wow, I watch this channel all the time, and I want to support them. But if people are asking you for money or getting in touch with you else in other ways, avoid it. All right? And that's kind of my skeptical. Anyone asking for your money or your personal information, you want to be very, very, very skeptical of. I've just learned from experience, health fads, self-improvement, diets. We all know this. These are the same person that they preyed on in those stupid magazine ads is the same person that they prey on online. The person that doesn't feel good about themselves, that wants to lose weight or wants to be, muscular or wants to get rich quick, same thing. You got to really watch for the opinion and propaganda disguised as news. That's a problem. Radical positions and political commentary. I don't know if any of you have maybe grandchildren that are in their 20s or so. You can't talk to them about politics. You can't talk to them about society because they want everything in soundbite. They heard Joe Rogan say it. You know who Joe Rogan is, right? Yeah. If you're under 40 and you're a guy, most guys worship Joe Rogan. They do, and he was on a sitcom years ago. He's interesting. He has an interesting talk show, but he's very, very, very influential. And when he says things that are wrong, you can't convince his fans that he's wrong.
Is there any single broadcast
His? No, that's his whole thing. Yeah, that's his whole thing. Yeah, it's, he he appeal. I call him Joe Brogan because he appeals to the bros. The guys that are bros. They think they're so smart. They have the tribal tattoos on their arms and things like that. But that's you gotta. He probably got started somewhere like a YouTube type thing, and now he's huge. I mean, Spotify. I think they gave him, I don't know, like 25 million or something. So anyway, in online recruitment, like I said, you want to be careful about that, right? Just generally remember, if it's too good to be true, it usually is. That advice goes with anything. And by the way, I have fallen for once. I've done it. I've been purchasing. Sometimes I'll buy like software, and there'll be this little thing at the that'll say, "Oh, click here for get double for half the money" or something, and you're not thinking, and then all of a sudden you're like, "Wait a minute, I just paid twice for this," or some, So you do have to be careful with that. All right. Connection with phones. Somebody asked that. Connection with other devices. So if you have a smart TV at home and you have the YouTube app on your smartphone, you can do what's called screencasting, right? So you can turn on your television and then start watching something on your phone and hit screencast, and it will put YouTube up on your television. Right? Now, you can do that with anything. Any app can screencast if it wants to, but YouTube's is particularly useful because the interface, think about it this way. It's really hard to search on using your remote on TV, right? If you were going to type in cooking show, you'd have to, move the cursor around the screen. Who's got time for that? Nobody. So you could do it in your phone. Cooking show, save for later, and then just go on here, and it would be right there. Or you could cast it right from your phone. Does that make sense? Not really. I'll do this. I'll do more of this. If you want more of this, let me move this one to the end, okay? And I'll show you how to do it on this if I can do it.
Screencasting can get
It can.
but my questions I was asking was, if you have a smartphone, that information be used
Yes.
to get onto the YouTube.
Yes.
That's the question.
The answer is yes.
Going through your phone, your computer,
Yep. No, well, screencasting works for me. But I also, sit in the same room, and there's not a lot of people on my network, so it could be a lot of different things. But the connection to the phones, that's the newest thing that everyone's doing now, and it's only going to get more seamless, I think. We talked about the paid services. That third bullet, liking and commenting. So the only reason I mention that is because, for example, I'm a small business, right? And I have a Facebook page. And the reason I have a Facebook page is it's free advertising, right? You just put yourself out there, and that's that. What happens is you don't show up in searches if your page isn't being interacted with. So every time, when I'm somewhere and I show people my Facebook page, I say, make sure you like and comment. That shows Facebook or Google or YouTube or whoever that people are involved and active, and you get higher on the search results, right? Because it's basically a popularity contest. If you're interacting with this and a bunch of other people are interacting with this, YouTube says, oh, this is important, boom, and they put it at the top, okay? We talked about the YouTube algorithm that's relatively secret. We know some stuff. We know that they look for watching right to the end. 15 minutes, we know they look for creators to have videos that are about 15 minutes long, that people watch to the end. We know those things. Linking with other social media, you can share videos to Facebook. So if you're watching something on YouTube, you can just click on it and share it to your friends or share it via email. All right, so let's do some demonstrating here, okay? So hopefully it stayed. All right, so what I did, right? Let me just show you. I did a search for how to make ice cream, and I just tried to find the shortest one I could. So this is what came up, and then I'll show you how to log in and stuff in a minute.
Hey guys, welcome back to Cooking with Claudia. Today I am showing you how to make 5-minute Ziploc ice cream.
So you see, so there it is, 5-minute Ziploc ice cream. This is where YouTube is perfect, right? I mean, is this going to change the world? Probably not. But you know what? I learned, it might. I learned how to make banana ice cream. I was like, because you'll love this. I'm worried about my sugar. I have, diabetes. So I saw this, I was like, oh, banana ice cream. So I made all these bananas and I'm eating the ice cream. And then I was telling someone, they go, bananas have the most carbohydrates of any fruit there is. So I was like, oh. So, yeah. So, all right. So here's one I think you might like. So this is a channel. So this is when you search, right? So I did a little search in the bar. See the bar at the very top where it says search? So I just searched for, I happen to know, I love this. I love this lady. So she calls herself the Italian grandma. And her son-in-law, I guess, was in the business and he films her. And so this is her channel, right? So I'm going to click on it. I think her name is Clara. I'm not sure, though. Oh, so we're on it. Okay, sorry. So now you can see on her channel, she's got all these videos. So if you click videos, now you can see, I'm going to scroll down a little bit. Look at all these videos, right? And it's all her making these things. So some people might find this by searching for shrimp scampi, and it might take you to her if she has a popular recipe that people are clicking on. Now, here's the really cool thing. Look at the top where it says video, it says home, and then it says videos, playlists, right? I want to show you something. So now I'm looking at the videos. I can look at, right now, these are the latest. So that's the newest one that she's put up where it says Italian grandma makes eggplant sauce with pasta 4 days ago. You see it? And it's 26 minutes, right? But now, if I change this, I can change to oldest. See that? See where I am? And now, look at, that's her first video 8 years ago. Italian grandma makes pizza and bread. And it's really, to me, if you like a creator, it's really interesting to see where they came from, too, But now here's the other thing. The middle one is popular. And this sorts it by number of views, okay? So you look at this first one, Italian grandma makes eggplant parmesan, has 7.4 million views. 7.4 million times somebody clicked on that. Now, I want you to think, if she's getting a percentage of a penny for each one, she's still doing all right, right? So again, the exception, she's the exception to the rule, but something about her. So let's see, what makes her so great? I don't know.
Waste.
Now, you got commercials.
Drying could be your answer. There are a few different
go
ways
right
of
by it.
preserving food. You can
Yes.
dehydrate. A dehydrator uses heat to slowly dry out food.
Then you click skip ads. All right.
Hi, I'm Gina. Today I gotta make a pizza,
She's great,
but a little
right?
bit, just a little bit I wanna make. 5 pounds of the flour, because when I make it before, I make 20 pounds of the flour. It was
All right, so you can see her, right? I love her. And by the way, she'll sing. Sometimes she'll burst into song. Sometimes her grandkids run on and she lets them help. It's adorable. So, but if you scroll down now, right? So just as you're looking, we're kind of getting to know this. Whoop, that's a little too far. All right. So just some of the information here, right? This can help you make decisions. So you can see someone people viewed this 6.2 million times, right? The recipe is there too. So you see where it says more? If you click on more, see that? The recipe's there too, which that's pretty cool. You don't have to write it down as you're going. But then you can do this, you can scroll down, and there's other things. So if you wanted to support her, the other way you could support her is buy things. See, it says her Amazon store, Buon Appetit Amazon store, and you click on it. She's doing two things. She's probably selling her own stuff on Amazon, but she's also doing affiliate marketing. Have you heard that term? So affiliate marketing means she has her own link, and if you click on her link and buy something at Amazon from that link, she gets a percentage. She gets a little piece. That's where you have to, if you're watching some things where they start recommending products, You have to think about that. Now, they have to disclose it. They have to tell you down the bottom that, you know, I don't see her as there. So maybe she might not be, I don't know. But they do have to tell you that they're an Amazon affiliate. Maybe they don't, the unscrupulous ones. But that's, you know, they get a little percentage of it, okay? And then under that, you have all these, you can comment. Oh, God. Where's my cursor? There we go. All right. You see these? These are all comments. These are users that have watched her video, right, and have commented. Look, one calls her America's grandma. I mean, that's funny, you know? So, so this is, like I said, just one person. Now, on the right, as you're watching this, now YouTube is suggesting other videos you might like. Some will be of her, and some will be of other creators. This is what I referred to when I said earlier, going down the rabbit hole, right? This is the one where you can sit. Can you see, like, how it could very easily happen? Right? You know, so you just start, you blink and 3 hours is gone and you're like, oh my God, I just wasted 3 hours on the computer. But maybe you didn't if you learned something, you know? All right, so, you know, what are some other things? What are some things you guys, you know, what can I search for that you might be interested in, or who's got something on their mind? Come on, someone's got to have something. Travel, all right. So, travel. If you just put in travel, right? So you're going to get, the results that you get are, when you're ready to bring your ideas to life, build it on Shopify. That's an advertisement. Do you see it? Do you see the little tiny ad? You see the word ad? Right under the word when, okay? So just skip over that, right? Look for the ad. I always skip right over the ads. Now the next one down, riding the world's most scenic train. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't like it because I don't like her mouth open like that. It makes me feel like she's going to be a moron. Let's find out if I'm right. So I'll click on her, all right? So let's see.
It was our first time in Kyoto.
Oh yeah, it was a whole new thing for us. We stayed in the
Colorado is the ultimate road trip destination and home to arguably the world's most scenic train journey. In this video,
on the Disney floats, you know, just
I'm
like
just
waving
skipping ahead
everyone
here,
going
you know.
past like I'm not a real person.
Oh, you're the
I'm just a
queen.
character.
Now, do you see this?
This trip, I am
It's
definitely
really
got
hard to
into the
see.
American positivity.
This is a new
It's
feature.
really rubbing off on me.
See
Maybe
this?
because I'm just happy at this
See those
moment.
little bumps?
Maybe I haven't been
That's a brand new feature that YouTube's been adding in. That's the section of the video that most people have rewound and watched again. Right? So if you're looking for, if you're like, you know, get to the point. A lot of times that's the point. You know, you just find where everyone rewatches it. But it's also, you know, I find myself doing it more than I should. Like, I should sit and listen to what other people have to say. Maybe I'll learn something else too, you know? So, you know, it's a trade-off. But so this woman and this guy annoy me already. And part of it is because, like, I don't want to watch the cameras moving, they're both talking, right? I don't want to watch that. So, now, but we're with travel, right? So how would I search for, so we want to narrow it down, first of all, right? Okay, so cruises. So now we're getting more narrow. Cruises to? Caribbean. All right, and what do we want to see? Do we just want to see, like, a visual of that? We want someone on that cruise, or we want to learn about it? Just see what happens. Let's just see what comes up. How's that? All right. So, cruises to, I'll just put Caribbean. I probably will spell it wrong. Caribbean. That's the beautiful thing, is it'll correct it. Oh, I spelled it right. See, now look, it's suggesting. You guys familiar with the suggestion thing, right? See how it's popping up? So cruises to Caribbean, and then I was suggesting cruises to Caribbean 2003. And this is just based on what other people have searched for. That's all that is. Yep.
Okay, how about cruises to the Caribbean under 10 minutes?
All right, so, but what do you mean the video? Oh, right, because you want the film. That's right. Okay, so he's back to that. Good, very good. He's like, I'm going to learn how to do this. All right, so you want to see cruises to the Caribbean, and what was it that you said?
Under 10 minutes.
Under 10 minutes, okay. So, see them right here? You search for it, see it? Shorts, unwatched, watched, For you, recently uploaded, see that? So you can pick those. Those are a form of sorting, right? So watched would be ones you've already watched. Unwatched would be ones you haven't seen, right? But now way over here on the right, see the filters? So there it is, see it? Now here you can choose, right? See that? So you can choose you could put something that was, I want to see something that was uploaded in the last hour. Now that's where you have to be careful because sometimes they don't have time to check. And that's how bad stuff sneaks in. Go ahead.
Is Seaborn up top because that is the most often clicked on? If you go behind your white thing there.
Oh, yeah, okay, so let me see. Yeah, I see it. So that's
Seaborn's at the top.
That's an ad. Look, so let me show you. Look what they do. That's an ad, and that's not an ad. Okay? But you got to look for that little ad. See it? See it? They don't.
The one that's not an ad is most clicked.
It's no. This is the famous algorithm. Like we don't really know why that one appeared at the top. It's probably a mixture of 15 different things. Probably all leading back to money some way. All right. So we searched cruises to the Caribbean, and now we want to see one that is under. It's either your choices are 4 minutes, 4 to 20 minutes, or over 20. So we'll choose under 4 minutes. All right. And now this is a new thing. Look at the first two at the top are ads, right? So we're going to ignore them. All right. Now, this down the bottom, this next one here, you see these shorts? That's a new thing that YouTube is doing to compete with like Facebook and Instagram. They're just little quick videos, right? So it turns some really quick videos of how big is Royal's fleet, everything that's included on Royal Caribbean Cruise. So I see Royal, Disney Royal. So my guess is they're paying some money to YouTube to be at the top, right? So, but I never watched the shorts anyway. So we're going to scroll down a little bit. All right. Now, so we've got Royal Caribbean Cruise passengers run for cover as storm batters deck furniture. Well, I don't think you probably want to see that if you're hoping to go on a cruise, right? But it's popular. People like that kind of stuff, So, I mean, this one guy, I watched this one video over and over again. It's some guy. You know what? I'm going to find it for you. You guys are a good crowd. You're a good crowd. You know what? Oh, what was his name? It's not on YouTube, but where do you guys see this? This is the brilliance of the internet. This is genius. Okay, so it is on YouTube. Okay, you ready? So this is Pinky is the cat of the week. They're trying to adopt. They're trying to get it adopted. Okay.
Girl talk.
Can you?
Yeah.
Oh.
You guys okay out here? Hey.
Pinky. Hi, this is Pinky. Start again. Hold on. Go. This is Pinky. He's a male cat, domestic short hair. He's available for adoption. He's pet of the week, Placer County Animal Shelter. He's a very loving cat.
Hang on to us, please. Oh, yeah. Pinky.
Pinky.
Pinky. What?
Well, we got a wild cat on our hands. Pinky, settle down, bud. Careful, Cole. Why don't I get a catch pole? Somebody get a catch pole. Just sit it over there.
No.
Get a catch pole.
Catch our phone to get him.
Yeah, because I'm not going to grab him. Dude.
I think he's caught up in there. Just disconnect it from the door. You got you in the back?
Don't you feel smarter? Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And let's say I go home, you told me about Pinky the cat. All right, I want to see something else about it.
Yeah.
But I actually hate cats.
Okay. Yeah.
So I searched for Pinky the cat. I watched the Pinky the cat video.
Yeah.
One of them.
Yeah.
Oh, the heck with that. But now, the next time I
You're going to see Pinky the cat. There is. Okay, I'm going to teach you how to fix that. Okay, so remember I said YouTube's algorithm is kind of like people in the business seem to not be thrilled about it for that very reason. I just did that. Luckily, this is a work account for me, so I don't care. But I'll be getting Pinky the cat for the next 2 weeks, or something of that nature, right? Let me teach you how to fix that, okay? So what you're going to do, right, is you're going to go back, and this is helpful for when you go down those rabbit holes, and then you're like, okay, yeah, I was interested in that last night. I don't care about it anymore, you know? So what you do is you go to history. So see this over on the left, right? You go to history. Oh, it didn't, there's no watch history. Why is not there? I guess I'm not saving my history, huh? All right, I got to show you how to do it. Hold on. Why is that's weird? Let me try it on a different. Oh, probably because I'm not signed in, maybe. Oh boy. Well, that's where it would be. Is in all you do is when the video pops up, when you see like, hold on, Pinky the cat. Yeah. So see right down here. See these 3 dots? You're going to find those 3 dots. Well, in here you could say, oh, there it is right there. Don't recommend the channel. See it? But on the other one, in the history, when you hit those 3 dots, you're going to say, not even remove, you're going to say, don't send me videos like this, something like that, you know, and then you won't see stuff like that, okay? Yeah, I had to do that. I was researching, I don't know why, these giant rats that were like, someone told me about them, they were in another country, and next thing you know, there's rats all over my YouTube thing. I'm like, oh, forget it. I needed Pinky. I don't even know how I found Pinky the cat, but I'm telling you, man, whenever I'm not in a good mood, I watch that, right? It's the funniest thing. And by the way, the internet is filled with stuff like this. That's the true genius of the internet, is as empowered, well, that's just farcical, but it's empowered people that have like weird little senses of humor to put it out there, you know? So, all right, so let's just look at some, you know, enough with the Pinky the cat stuff. Let's take a quick look at, go ahead. Friendly sharks. Sure, okay. And what are you hoping to find?
You're going to see a person who is removed.
Oh. Okay, well, first of all, right here? Okay. So this, right away, this website or this channel, the Dodo, see it right here? They're excellent.
Almost like a big Labrador retriever that wants love and affection constantly. She's always the same exact, reliable, gentle giant.
All right, so this is a great example. So you've watched this, right? And you like it, and you say, gee, I've found my purpose on YouTube. These are the things that I want to watch, right? Okay, so the first thing you would do is subscribe. See that? But if you want to see before you do it, you just click on the name. See, it says the Dodo. So you click on that, and now you're at the Dodo's channel. And this is their, like, it just plays automatically. But this is their channel. You can see all the Dodo's videos, right? Right, and it's all animals, and it is an excellent channel. I've seen it before. But then you can look, like the Dodo might have some shorts. Yep, they do. Live. Now, live streaming, that's a new thing. So I live in Brockton. Have you seen Brockton in the news? Well, yeah. But, I mean, recently, $14 million budget shortfall, right? That they were like, what? Who knew? You know, I love, by the way, the mayor is screaming and yelling, we will find the school department, who was responsible for this, we will find. The mayor is the chair of the school committee. I'm like, are you kidding me? But anyway, so they've had a succession of emergency meetings, and people are done with like the local cable access. No offense to the local cable access, but they're like, we're not waiting for them to set up. People just live streamed it on YouTube. So you could just go on YouTube and just watch you could watch a company live streaming, or you could watch a guy or someone standing there with their phone live streaming it, you know? So there's one other thing that I want to show you that, I'm going to show it to you, but I'm not going to play it, okay? And I'll tell you why. This has been something I've been watching at night. This is a really brand new phenomenon that's taking YouTube by storm. And they're called auditors. And they're generally, oh, I didn't do that on Google, sorry, I meant to do it on, all right. So they're generally, this is a news thing about it, so I probably could play that. But so they call themselves either First Amendment auditors or just auditors. And what they do is most of them are jerks. They're just jerks, right? And they're trying to get a reaction out of mostly the police. So what they'll do is they'll go to the local police station and they'll stand in the parking lot on the sidewalk with a camera and they'll just walk around filming. And then they'll go in the lobby and they'll film everything that's on the wall. And they wait for the police to come and say, "Excuse me, why are you filming?" And then they'll say, "You don't have a right to ask me that." And then the police will generally, all the ones I've watched, they push. And they say, "Well, now I want your ID." And then the First Amendment auditor will say, "The Fifth Amendment provides against self-incrimination. I do not have to ID myself to you." And they do this, like some of them do it, Second Amendment auditors, they walk around with an Uzi strapped to their back because the courts have ruled someone carrying a gun is not a reason for the police to stop and ID them. They just have ruled that. Just the same as someone carrying a camera is not the reason. You have to have broken a law for the police to ask for your ID, or they can ask anything. But for them to have to, if you have to give it to them, you have to have broken a law. So these First Amendment auditors are going around, and there's hundreds of them, and they're all over the state. There's one guy that lives in an RV, and just him and his son drive all around the country doing this. Some of them, so you're shaking your head, and at first I was too, I have to admit. And like I said, I started out saying they're jerks, and they are jerks. I'll freely admit they're jerks. I can't play some of it because they swear at the cops, and which is their right. It is their right to be able to do that. So, but the reason I'm showing you this is there is a form of citizen justice. They've caught a lot of stuff because, I'm certainly not anti-law enforcement, but there are, bad apples in every bunch, and there are people that don't follow the rules and don't do their job the way they're supposed to. And people like this are now shining a light on that. Even to little small things like when you go into even at my City Hall in Brockton, they have a sign-in sheet. Illegal. It's a public building. It's a public building. You have the right to walk in there. So these First Amendment auditors are raising that, the awareness of those types of things. So that's why I like to mention citizen journalism. And there's some good stuff out there, and there's some, horrible stuff out there.
How do you access that, auditors?
I just searched for First Amendment auditors.
First Amendment.
Yeah, I like the First Amendment, yeah.
They were recently at the Wellesley Library,
Ah, okay.
and online is the video of them
Yeah,
walking in and engaging different library
Yeah.
employees,
yeah,
kind of trying to wow them a little bit.
yeah, yeah.
Not quite as invasive as you're describing.
Yeah.
Police, but certainly an uncomfortable afternoon for the Wellesley Library.
And that's the problem is they what does a librarian have to do with their, why are you dragging a librarian into the librarian just wants people to read, But then you can look at it on the other hand when the librarian says you're not allowed to film in here. Well, that's wrong. You are allowed to film in there. You are, because it's a public space. You are. You know what I mean? So there is that flip side too, that they are shining a light on some things that, again, I don't think that's one that I would, stand on as a battle, but I do think that they're, picking on the librarians a bit much. All right, so then I just want to show you one more. What was the other one I wanted to show you? Anyone have a request that they want to see while I try to remember what it was I was going to put up there? Oh, I know what I was going to put. This one fascinates me. I don't even know how I found it, but it's called Sailing Zatara. That's their last name, right? And they're a family that travels around the world in their boat. and there's like the kids are older, you know. There's 3 kids and 2 adults, and they just document their little, you know, everywhere they go. So you know, you can see, like, let's look at what's their most popular one. So here's one. It looks like they got caught, you know, in a storm or something. But here's one just showing his boat, you know.
We were on a guided museum tour. I'm not an art person.
Now, YouTube will tell you if you pay for this, you won't have these ads, right? That, you know, that's part of it. But I'm just as happy for free to just click,
300,000 travel
you know.
experiences you'll remember. Do more with Viator.
Attention campers, this is your head.
Oh, so this one has 2 ads. That tells you that they're a popular channel.
Giant beer pong and
No.
a Buddy Buddy pit. Game on.
Buddy Games, new series Thursday on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus.
So this is, I think the wife does the camera work.
We found an agent, enlisted our monohull on Yacht World, and we said a final farewell to our beloved boat.
Yeah, so you know, you can see they just,
750,000.
and then he talks about it, and then the kids talk about like their day, you know. And then they go on land, and they go on tours and stuff, and it's really, I've been following them for years. You know, I think the oldest kid was like, you know, short when I started watching it. But you get involved in, you know, in some of these things. There was one I used to watch all the time. I loved this guy. He unfortunately passed away about a year ago, which is also a kind of an interesting thing to think about. Like, his videos and stuff are still on here, like, you know what I mean? But he's gone. So he was, this guy, if you're at all a cook, he was a chef, and he had a place in Connecticut. I forget the name. New London. So he had a little shop in a little restaurant in New London, Connecticut, and his name is Daddy Jack. And I'll just show you what he looks like. So, oh, there he is with his, I think, his daughter. Oh no, this is after he died. Yeah, sorry. Here he is.
Just kind of just to butter it so it doesn't stick.
So you can see, like, this is real. Like, he's cooking for his restaurant, and he's just kind of recording as he's doing it. So this is the guy that I really got into him, because he's what you would call a stovetop chef. Like, he doesn't use the oven. Everything's done, made to order, and he sends it out. So I was really into that. I was trying to do, like, cooking demonstrations, and that just didn't work. But anyway, I ended up really liking this guy, and he was good. So for years I watched him, and I had plans. I was actually going to go to his restaurant. It's not that far. And he's the one that let me peek behind the curtain a little bit. Remember I said they look for 15-minute videos? He did a whole video on that, and he said, you know, I want to explain why my videos are this long. And what he would do is, the first half of the video was him cooking, and then the second half, he always had a jazz band at his club at night, was the jazz band playing for like another 8 minutes, just them playing. And sometimes he would come out in his white chef thing, and he would play the cheese grater with the band. So anyway, but he told his audience why. He said, well, they want us to have between 15 and 20 minutes of video watched all the way to the end, and I just can't do more than 7 or 8 minutes, so I just put the band up there. So just please watch the band all the way to the end. And that's what people did. Like, his fans did that, you know. And it was really interesting. Like, you know, when he passed away, his daughters posted a lot of behind-the-scenes footage that hadn't been seen. And I was like really sad when he died. I was like, wow, I really missed that. You know, he was, you know, every 3 or 4 days there was a new video. It was cool. So you will find, you know, things that you get attached to. Any other questions? Yeah.
What about you said you save them for later?
Sure. How do you save them for later? So saving for later, same thing. So when you go through, right, if you look down here, see the 3 little arrows? Whoops, hold on. Where the heck? Oh, maybe it's in. See, they move things around. No, that's share. Hold on. Where does it say? Oh, there it is. Thank you. Someone said it. See, save right there. So you just click that and watch later. See it? So now when you retrieve it, so now you go back to YouTube, right? You go back to the main page, and you see watch later on the left. See it? And it's right there. I just saved it. See it? So just always remember, the left side controls what you see on the right side. So you click on some, it's there forever until you get rid of it. until now, and that can be a problem too. Is like I watch later, and then I sit down and I'm like, oh, I want to watch that, and I have to go through it. I might as well just search for it again, you know. So to cull through your list and make sure that you you do that. There's some great stuff out there. You can watch like the NASA space stations. You can watch. There's a YouTube channel that's just way up high. It's an eagle's nest. Is that it? It's called Decorah. Eagle Cam. Yeah, that's another one. I mean, there's so much great stuff. You want to learn a language? Take a course free right on YouTube. There's plenty of people that would teach you stuff. I'm thinking of that because I just read an article about how that prevents dementia. So I've tried to learn Chinese. I was there for 2 weeks. I didn't forget it. I'll take the dementia. That language was so. I learned one, shishi, thank you, that's it. Even, sheshe, yeah, see, I even said it wrong. My translator, she was this little lady, she was with me the whole, Miss Wu, she was with me the whole, 2 weeks I was there, and probably like 10 days in, she had finally let her hair down a little, and she looked at me and she goes, why'd you not learn this language? Dumb American, I don't know. So anyway, questions, comments? You guys feel like you picked some stuff up? Yeah.
Are always watching things at a particular subject.
Yeah.
Will YouTube shut you down?
No. No, you don't have to subscribe. So that's, I say subscribe for convenience, but if you don't want to, you don't have to. You can just watch as a guest. The only thing you really can't do if you don't subscribe is that watch later thing that you probably can't do stuff like that. But yeah, you don't have to subscribe, no. Other questions? No? Yeah, go ahead.
I used to, when the Patriots were good, I used to like to watch NFL big play highlights. And
Yeah.
Patriots, Jets.
Sure.
All the important plays.
Yeah.
You could miss it on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I go to my TV, my smart
Yeah.
thing, can you type into that?
Yes.
What you want to see on the TV?
Well, no, that's what I was saying earlier is it's a pain in the neck because you have to scroll around. You're better off doing what I just did. Sign into YouTube on your phone or on your laptop, click watch later, then go on your TV and find the watch later. You follow me? Then you're not typing anything in. All right? I want to show you one last thing that if you're a baseball fan, see, I was going to say the gentleman in the room, but I've corrected myself because women can be baseball fans. See, I'm learning. It only took till I'm 54. Yeah, right. Yeah, I'll be constantly reminded of it. Don't worry. Because there's a little nostalgia at YouTube too, and you guys are going to remember this. As soon as I saw it, I said, "Oh my God."
He was a raw rookie among future Hall of Famers, but right now he's achieved immortality on the mound in his own right.
This week in baseball, remember that? It's been discontinued. But when I was a kid, you watched this on Sundays, I think it was on. Was it? I can't remember. Saturdays, maybe, yeah. And it was This Week in Baseball, and it was all the highlights, and they discontinued it years and years and years ago. But you can go on and watch all the old, someone put all the old ones up there. You like, I'll give you one. Here's another one of my idols, just to show you that I am well-rounded.
So let's go there and then, right here and now. Here we go, y'all, on This Week in Baseball.
So Julia Child, you see this? All right, now, by the way, see this little pop-up window? See how it's still going? Most annoying thing in the world. Just close it. Nothing you can do about it. All right, see this? Julia Child on PBS. So this is PBS's channel. And look, they have all the old black and white.
The following program is made possible.
Oh, look, let's go back and do that. Hold on a minute.
The following program is made possible with the assistance of a grant from SNH Green Stamps.
Right? And you can watch every episode.
Bœuf bourguignon, French beef stew
Yeah.
in red wine.
See that?
We're going to serve
And
it
and now, so
with
why can you watch all that, right? Because it was originally made with public money, right? It was she was on PBS or whatever it was around here. It was PBS, yeah. So it's public stuff. There's tons of movies that the copyrights have expired, so that you can put them on YouTube. YouTube's really good about policing current copyrights. They kick those right off. But a lot of, like, did you see what happened with Winnie the Pooh? You guys didn't see this. You're not gonna like it. So Winnie the Pooh's copyright just ended, right? So anyone can do it. So there was just a horror movie made called Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. And the premise was Christopher Robin went to college and forgot about Winnie the Pooh and all the little woodland creatures, and they went feral. But that's the the copyright ran out, and but you could put stuff like that on YouTube if you wanted. Any other questions on that? That was nonsense, I know, but did you learn a few things? It piqued your interest on YouTube a little bit? Yeah. Thank you. Good. There's a lot of great stuff out there. Say that again? Come on up and I'll show you. Screencasting. If you want to see how screencasting works, come on up here and I'll show you on my phone. You don't want to come up here? Okay. Well, everyone's leaving. It's not like a group thing, but so all you do, if you want to leave your email right on the back of that paper.